to go.
Cool.
You ready to go?
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
Yeah. I'll roll the intro then. I'll just press the button and see if something happens. I'll turn you down some more just in case. Okay. Right. I need a war song chant. I'm over Adrian Brody.
You're not over it?
I'm over Adrian.
You are
Brody.
over it.
It's not. He's not doing it for me anymore. I need another war song.
It's not the strongest.
William Shakespeare. No.
William Shatner.
No.
There's not a lot of yell in that.
Yeah. I think it ends with a ugh.
Idris Elba.
All right. Idris Elba. Sebastian Bach. There you go. Sebastian Bach. Idris Elba sounded racist halfway through because it felt like I was going ugh. So I went Sebastian Bach. I can't remember if he's deaf or not. I don't think he was. I think it's just a Sebastian.
Oh, they were all deaf, weren't they, in some way? But like
everyone.
Beethoven was deaf, wasn't he?
One of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he was young once as well.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I Sebastian Bach so loud the camera moved. Or is it, this table's pretty rickety, to be fair. I mean, I'm podcasting from the kitchen.
Yeah. Going up in the world.
I thought, next stage, next round of evolution. I just felt like a change of scenery.
Yeah.
I've been just working a lot on my desk for a long time, so I was like, I'll go to the less acoustically sound kitchen, I think.
Yeah, no, it's
fine.
There's this like Big Brother. There's a camera in every room. You just do what you need.
We've all been fogged over with sadness.
Yeah.
And the kitchen's the only one that has any hope left.
Oh. Here we are again.
Again, remotely. Yeah.
Bullshit.
You what?
Bullshit. It's fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
Hope October was objective because fucking November's about to be shit.
It's about to be no November.
Basically. No.
Yeah.
No November.
Just no.
November.
Before we get into it, let's go an intro. We're episode 213. I'm going to point the camera. We're on YouTube. If you want to watch us as well as listen to us, we've got an Amazon banner on the website, www.politipodcast.com. We've got social media if you give a shit. I'm not in a great mood, so let's plow on. So, I can't remember. I think I vaguely understood your message about why you specifically are quarantining now, which is is it the 1st? Yeah, the 1st of November. Would you like to regale the listeners?
Basically, someone at my wife's work called in with a temperature, aka a hangover, and said, they've, but because they said, I think I've got a temperature, they've had to be like, well, now you have to get a COVID test. And because you have to get a COVID test, we all have to isolate until you've got the results back. So by we, it's everyone that works there and everyone that lives with the people that work there.
Right. So does he actually have a fever, or was it he was hungover and he's calling in sick?
There's no evidence either way, but past experience says that it's likely the latter.
So he's just lied about having a fever.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Well, that's a new, less funny version of trolling, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it's fucking hilarious.
So does that mean you can't go out to work now?
It's like 48 hours for the results. So the chances are I'll know by Monday. If it's fucked, if I've got to spend 2 weeks in, then I've got plenty of shit to edit. So it's not really that big a problem. But it's just this is the last week of freedom now. And
if you knew the world was going to end on Thursday, what would you do? Well, I'd do a bit of editing.
Walk the dog.
Cut my hair.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah.
Just wait for the inevitable doom.
Yeah. Yeah, but I'm mostly fucked off because it's like I felt like everything was kind of like going in order again. Like got the gym shit under control, and like I got like a 12-week streak with that now. And the thing that's going to break it is is the fact that the gym's closing, not because I fucked up. Which is
Are they definitely closing? I haven't double checked yet.
It doesn't.
I know pubs are closing.
Yeah, well, it said just like recreational and non-essential leisure and stuff like that. So like, it will be like they just will, because why not close the gyms and keep Mackey's open? Why not?
I like that. I like that they're doing this for Christmas.
We must save Christmas. I couldn't give a fuck about Christmas.
Well, like, I'm all for Christmas, but like it just feels like the worst Christmas gift in the world. Look, just fuck off. All right, and then Christmas.
Yeah,
that'll be lovely.
Yeah, it's like hibernation. It's like, well, we don't want to wait. It's like, all right, we'll go sleep for a month, and then we'll get out at Christmas.
Well, it'll be interesting because the army's getting involved.
Army?
Yeah, army's getting involved with something. I don't know what it is. I reckon it's with the medical tests, because I think they've. I think that's one of the things they're thinking about doing is doing local area mass testing.
Yeah.
I mean, you did a test. Is that what you said? You got like a 24-hour wait to a 48-hour.
It's not
wait
me.
to
I haven't had a test.
Back?
No. I haven't had any test. It's just this. It's just this one person.
Just the guy's called in sick. It takes 48 hours to get it. Well. I don't know the state of the testing, but yeah, they're thinking about doing testing.
Just to play devil's advocate and everything. Like, I'm sure there's every chance that the whole thing is honest and truthful and everything like that, and I'm just being bitter as fuck. But
could be.
I don't have faith in people, to be honest. So that's just kind of where I'm sitting.
It's a weird. What do you say? You don't have trust in people.
Yeah.
Belief, faith. You don't have faith in people, isn't it? Yeah, it's a weird faith bar chart, that, isn't it? Because Steve doesn't have faith in people, but dogs, unadopted dogs, don't have faith in Steve.
Yeah.
That felt like a gut punch when I was saying it. I do apologise.
So I get my comeuppance. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a weird circle that starts off with fetch and ends.
So
with
I need to find a dog that just wants to adopt me.
Yeah,
and that would.
Yeah, you need to a new way of life.
And if that dog is owned by another person, and then that'd probably work.
Become the grandson
of the dog.
You get that. I don't know. It becomes more complicated, more complex than what we have brain power for, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, they announced it. I think it was yesterday, wasn't it? That they're going to close everything for 4 weeks.
Yep.
And and again, I've said for a while now, this is the solution. It's just a solution that people aren't going to completely do, and isn't being properly backed, right? Because the absolute correct answer is for the whole world to stay indoors, stay at home for 2 weeks, never leave the house. You know, food, stock up on food for 2 weeks. Don't go to Tesco, and then if you do that, everything goes back to normal in a month, basically. But it's just kind of unfeasible, right? Because it's like, well, people are going to go shopping.
It would work with ants, with things that don't value freedom and they don't get anxious or anything like that. It would work with any species that's happy to fall in line, but in one that is just a collection of individuals, you are never going to orchestrate that to work ever.
Well, and that's my point: is that people are going to fail. Rather than the system's going to fail.
I wouldn't say people are going to fail. I would say people are just going to be people. That is not a feasible answer to expect people to do.
But people are going to fail that idea. It's not like everyone's a failure, right? But with this if this works, then it's back to normal in 4 weeks, and everything's open and everything's back to normal. It's just people aren't going to do it, and I always feel like it's their responsibility. I don't understand how. I think everybody can stay in quarantine for 2 weeks because lots of people have quarantined themselves for 2 weeks before. Dogs get quarantined. I think it was like 6 months or something when they went abroad. If a dog can do it, a parent can do it, right?
I don't know.
Don't know.
I don't know.
Well, I guess I'm all about the extreme, so it's it's a weird thing to say on a recording, but no, yeah, it just feels like this is the number one absolute perfect way to do it if it is abided by properly. I just don't think people are going to abide properly. I still know people who are going on holidays. My camera is pivoting. It's always pivoting. It's going to be fun editing this, isn't it? But yeah, it feels like if people just do this properly, then everything can back to normal.
Yeah, it seems like that.
How can we help people do it?
You can't. I don't think you can help people do something that is against their nature.
So you think it's absolutely impossible to stay in one place for 2 weeks?
No, I think it's absolutely impossible for 7 billion people to stay in one place for 2 weeks.
Okay, so you accept that people can do it. On a scale of some kind.
I accept that an individual can have the willpower to do something. I expect that an individual can have the willpower to do something, and I'm sure the vast majority of people will actually try, but at the same time, the vast majority of people try to lose weight or to exercise, and shit just doesn't stick because it's not in their nature to just pivot. We don't work like that.
I'd say we adapt. I'd say the human body and the brain adapts to circumstances. I just think people are stupid and aren't true to themselves. In terms of losing weight, for example. Yeah. Most people say they want to lose weight, but they don't actually want to lose weight, so they're not going to lose weight.
At the same time, though, I think if you could reframe the argument, the trouble is it's gotten too divisive. Because there are too many opposing views within virologists and scientists and medical professionals and people who actually know what they're talking about. There are still two camps. Some which say this is not going to work. This was never going to work, and here's the evidence. And some saying this does work, this has worked, and here's the evidence. And they're both looking at the same evidence. There's two different reads from it with the experts. And if the experts are saying that, then the people are naturally going to pick the side of the expert which benefits them the most. So you've got half of the people who work privately who have to keep working, so they're going to side with the people who say there's nothing you can do, we should all just carry on with our lives. And you get the side that are furloughed or work in public sector jobs who will be paid by the government either way and are quite happy to be squirreled away in their apartment for a month because it doesn't really affect them at all aside from not being able to see their friends. And both sides will fucking demonize each other. But if you could reframe the argument of being let's pretend there's no fucking virus. The government is saying stay in your home for a month. We'd take the virus out of it. If we all just stay in our home for a month, then we can just carry on with our lives after that. But as soon as you enter into the what do medical professionals say? What do la 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 la? It's it doesn't work because you've got two camps in that situation.
And just to be clear on those two camps, there's one camp that says that the virus is not quarantinable.
Yeah.
They're saying that it's not contagious. It's going to be contagious through.
There's sides that are, and to be fair, I'm probably on their side.
Hang on, because that makes no sense. How can a virus be contagious how can you catch a virus from your neighbor if you're both in separate houses?
Because it's an airborne thing. It's aerosol. It's not this whole it doesn't exist outside of a person thing is nonsense.
Of course it exists outside of yourself, but you're saying it'll go out your windows and cross the street to your neighbor and go through their windows instead of going up? I
don't know. I'm saying that
it's only because you said you were on their side, the side of quarantine wouldn't work.
No, but but at the same time, you can look at countries that didn't do any quarantining who were in either no different shape or much better shape.
Right. So I think we're getting very muddled around the talking point, right? So the talking point was if people were to quarantine themselves for 4 weeks properly and completely, I think that we would either everything would be fixed or we would at least be in a much better position. And are you saying that you're on the side of that won't make any difference? Or are you saying that, or are you only saying that people won't be able to stick to that quarantine?
I'm saying what's safe is that I do not believe that anyone can stick to it. I don't think, and if it's the only way for it to work is an all or nothing. So if we can't all do it, what's the point?
Well, the point is that if 50% of people do it, then at least there'll be 50% less cases.
But we were told that last time.
And that was what happened, right?
No.
So for the first quarantine, there wasn't a reduce in the R?
We were told that last time in order to prevent a second spike, and this second spike thing is still here. And it's not because people disobeyed it. It's because it didn't work.
But... Well, let's not get too bogged down into it, because obviously it's a big thing.
It's a whole thing.
But I was of the impression that when we did the first quarantine, the R rate dropped and the number of infected dropped. As in the rate of which people were being infected was reduced. And that was before we were testing. So that was just like, hey, we're quarantining and there's less people being admitted to hospital with this disease. So the quarantine seems to be effective. Right now, there's like there's a high number of like 100 cases a day or something. So the second quarantine will, if it's anywhere similar to the first quarantine, that infected rate will start to drop as well.
Yeah.
So it feels like the right thing to do. It's just a shitty thing. And obviously the reason why they're trying to make it 4 weeks is because they're just trying to make it a bit more... hopefully, if people couldn't stick to it for 2 weeks or whatever the last period was, hopefully now they'll listen to it for a little while longer.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's another reminder of.
There's already people saying like, oh, it's gonna be longer than 4 weeks. Like they reckon they'll drag it right out until like the 20th of December, and then be like, you got a week of Christmas, all right. Now, back to whatever.
The only reason that I could see they would ever do that is if people were still getting infected.
Yeah. Well, people are. It's just.
And then it's a question of how were they infected? Were they infected by being quarantined? Because if they were, as you say, maybe it goes from house to house. Then at least that's new information, they can deal with it.
Yeah.
And if it's people are quarantining, but people are still going to Tesco and supermarkets and parks and stuff like that, then you go, well, then we need to reiterate to people that they should just stay in their homes.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be the only way, other than just infecting everybody. But yeah, I've known a lot more people who've gotten it, who are getting quarantined and stuff. It's just it's a horrible thing. Just it's isolation plus sickness plus panic plus extra pain.
I still don't know a single person that's had it. And that's not to say I don't know a lot of people. It's just there's a potential once this test comes through that I might know one person who's got it through someone else, and that's it.
But then, I think a lot of people who are at more.
It's the trouble is a lot of people do that and they'll go off anecdotal evidence, and really you should be just going off numbers. But I don't know. I think it's just like everyone else. I'm just fatigued with it. I'm not scared of it. I'm not fucking angry about it. I'm just bored of it.
It is certainly boring. I'll definitely give you that. And it's going to be. It is much a desire of hoping that it was going to be over by now, and then obviously this is kind of reminding us that it's still going on.
Well, virologists have said basically the life cycle of these kind of things tends to be about 18 months. So we'll probably be dealing with this up until next July thereabouts. As in the waves of infections and everything like that tends to peter out after about 18 months. It seems to have been that way with previous pandemics, even though this obviously isn't nearly as serious as past things like Spanish flu and shit like that. But that could be because we've got access to better medicine.
There are factors. We don't know anything about it yet, do we? It's like they say, the amount of people saying this disease is not that effective, or it's not that fatal, hasn't got that many negatives. I don't understand, because you go, we don't know what the long-term effects are, right? We just don't know. Nobody knows. So if you're saying that there are absolutely no long-term effects, hey man, I hope you're right. Not you specifically, but these people saying, I just go like, I hope you're right. But yeah, people have started losing their hair. I don't know how true that is. But I've seen articles about that. But that's obviously signs of greater issues, right? That's signs of hormonal imbalance and things potentially going wrong.
Potentially.
So yeah, it's just it's a weird one because I've always been like, I'm not scared of the whole thing, but I don't understand the argument against being cautious with the symptoms that this disease has, in terms of it's hard to detect, it's hard to know that you've got it, and it is very contagious.
It's true. I think the interesting thing was the pivot that the World Health Organization did, which was like, they said that the solution to the problem cannot be worse than the actual disease infection. Like they're now kind of like turned against the argument for lockdowns. So they said, but then you caused like waves of kind of future abject poverty as people go out of business and stuff like that, which on the whole will likely kill far more people from what we know now, not from what we knew 6 months ago, but from what we think we know now. And yeah, it's
a question of how much you value human life, because and what aspects of human life you value, whether it's physical health or mental health. There's going to be an argument there. Then like economic health of people, because either way there's going to be somebody who's going to suffer from either the quarantining, the whatever the measures taken, and those are going to be people who are going to suffer if you don't do that. I mean, obviously the big trigger word is, this is obviously what the Nazis did, which is kill the weak. That I did a whole paper on it. Yeah, I did a whole paper on it. It was like, I had to try and put the Nazi political party into a positive light. And you go, well, if you did kill every single person with a contagious disease, that disease disappears. So that could very well be an argument. I mean, I'd be dead. Lots and lots of people would be dead. But maybe that's the way forward.
Do you have a contagious disease?
No, but if I catch it, I'm highly likely to die.
Right. Okay.
Because I'm male, and because I'm diabetic, apparently. You're much more at risk as a male diabetic than you are as a female diabetic, is what my doctor said, or something like that. But yeah, anybody over a certain age is going to be at risk. Anybody under a certain age is apparently going to be at risk. But I can understand, like, it's weird seeing school kids without masks. That's the weird one for me as well. Is this just like, this seems crazy, but if you can't trust kids to drive, you can't trust them not to play kiss chase.
Well, the kid thing I don't understand. There was always that, like, since we started the whole mask thing and wearing them around shops and stuff, they were always like, it's not a rule for kids. But then when you go into the argument of like, well, they're always like, well, it's not for you, it's to stop you passing things to other people. It's like, okay, well, let's jump on that. Who's more likely to fucking cough on the fruit and veg? Is it like myself as an adult who's fairly controlled and knows how to fucking control himself, or is it a child who's like just running around and being carefree and whatever? And in that instance, wouldn't you put masks on a fucking child if it's to protect everybody else?
But I think I'd use that logic, right? Of, you're an adult who can be controlled. Yeah. The child cannot be controlled. So trying to control the child by trying to get it to wear a mask is where the rub is. No. You know
you can control it to the point where you can get them to wear a mask.
I think
in the same way that you can control a dog with a muzzle. You can't trust it not to bite people, so you put a muzzle on it.
Right. So we should clamp these masks to children.
Yes.
Right. I'm all for that. We could do that. I'm more than happy. Do that weird head vice thing from Saw.
Yeah.
Just put them in that big bear trap that opens up. Just go outside and play. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's the same argument would be, why don't you put masks on dogs?
Yeah.
Because, a dog will take it off.
It's
children
just
will take it off.
It's the weird fucking hypocrisy of like, of a mum and dad doing their best and everything like that, walking around Aldi, each with like, I don't know, a full fucking ventilator suit on, while they've got 12 kids just charging around, fucking shitting on each other and throwing stuff. And it's like, what is the mask that you're wearing fucking doing at all after you've decided to bring your entire family out to the shops?
This is a trap that I think a lot of people fall into, is that they're trying to say, how does this solution work in this circumstance? But the solution, but you're doing the absolute opposite in that example of how come parents wearing masks but children don't have to. It's not because the answer is if all parents wear masks then the disease will go away. It's people won't quarantine. These people won't stay in their houses, so they have to go out. Okay, if you're going to go out, who can we effectively manage with trying to use precautions? Well, let's get, hopefully, everyone over 18 must be able to adhere to these rules, because they're not most people aren't going around committing other crimes. So, but children are children. I mean, it's the fetus argument. Like, how are you going to get that mask on that fetus? I don't know. What age do you become? Right now, you have to wear a mask wherever you go. It becomes more and more complicated and more chaotic when you're trying to get a school of, I don't know how many people are in school, but say 500 children not wearing masks, not touching each other, all staying 6 feet apart. They've gone, we can't control children. That's too much chaos and too much problems. So children, there's going to be a spread factor there. We can't do anything about it. Where can we? Okay, adults, if you're going to get your prescriptions, or you're going to get, food. And the answer is, if you could just stay indoors for 2 weeks, or let's say 4 weeks in this example, then there would be a large improvement at the very least, I think.
Yeah.
Even if it's just more people dying alone in their homes,
Yeah. Which is
just like, it's just going to thin it.
Yeah, thin the herd.
Why not?
But then, and again, like my complaint about it isn't even from a personal perspective or point of view, because I never had any trouble like not going out. I'm great at that. Like, and the whole isolation thing, and it's like I said with you, it's like, well, I live with my best friend. Like, I don't have any weird kind of like separation anxiety from my friends or anything like that. It's like,
sure, I do think you had a big difference because you were still going out of the house every day. I think that was still like for work.
Yeah.
I think that the thing that I noticed was how much of a difference that makes, is like going out and being around anyone. It's like that does have a weird subliminal effect. But yeah, there's going to be some people who suffer from it more than others. But I think everybody will suffer. It's just this, in the grand scheme of all the things you could be suffering from as a nation. Yeah, staying indoors for November feels like it would be achievable. Yeah. There would have to be other things to be done, like I say, like you'd have to stock up on food for 2 weeks or 4 weeks. It wouldn't be great. You couldn't have fresh meat every day, but you go like, if everybody was to do this, then I think, and then I would accept answers against what this is and how we're doing it wrong, because it just feels like this is the proper solution to any quarantine issue, is to fucking quarantine, as opposed to, oh, I still need to go to Greece. Why do you need to go to Greece? Well, it's my holiday. I got to have a holiday. Yeah. Well, I have to go to the corner shop. Why? Well, I've got to get a Yorkie bar. Okay. I don't think you understand what quarantine means. Yeah. So if everybody does this and gives it a good honest go, I go like, all right, fair enough, that makes sense. But yeah, it just seems like it's going to be another thing of people are still going to leave the house, people are still going to do things, and the only way you can do it is to do something similar to what they've done in Spain, of just having, people on the streets implementing a curfew.
Well, it wasn't in China, and like if in China, if you left your house, you were like arrested.
Yeah, or in Spain you're fined after a certain curfew time, I think, at the moment. But there was times where you couldn't leave the house to go buy cigarettes or anything like that. Yeah. And you go like, that is, I think people forget what the term quarantine means because it's been thrown around so much. It's like, a quarantine isn't a happy go, fun holiday where you chill at home and don't go to work. Yeah. That's not what a quarantine is. That's calling in sick. but like, yeah, if people were to properly quarantine. So it's going to be weird. It's going to be interesting to see what people do again. I agree with you in that I think people are going to rebel against it for some reason, or whether it's a logical reason, like they've read one medical paper and they value that paper over the papers that other people are reading. It's about, if I don't think
that's the stupid situation that we're in at the minute, though. There is a set of papers or numbers or whatever it is and two sides have interpreted them differently. And you have to kind of decide which side is right and which side is wrong. Meanwhile, both sides are saying the other side is wrong. So it's like, so we're not a well-informed public in that case.
Well, in the weird one because I think both political parties believe in, I think what they're calling it a circuit breaker thing to do, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the Labour Party wanted it first and they said, we just need a circuit breaker for 2 weeks during a half term in October. And the Tories said, no! That's a terrible idea. And then they said, let's have a great idea of doing the exact same thing, but for 4 weeks. So it feels like the two major political parties are in complete agreement. And if you are to believe that the political parties represent the majority of the people, the two largest, the Labour and Conservative, reflect the views of the majority of the people. I feel like this is the system we set up. Let's try it. And the great thing is, it's only 4 weeks. So after 4 weeks, you can look at the information and be like, well, what happened? Did the control subjects actually abide by the safety of the rules? Because if they did, we're going to be better off regardless whether more people have suffered or not. After that, you go like, great, now we know it's not contagious. Or now we know quarantine doesn't work, so fuck it. We need to put more money into medicine. Or actually the infection rate dropped a little. Okay, so the quarantine is still effective. Maybe we can look into new ways to implement that more effectively.
Yeah.
But as usual, people are just going to completely fuck it up. So and that's why I put it down to the people fucking it up rather than the quarantine being a bad idea. Because it's like the idea is effective. It's just people aren't going to... people are going to completely ignore it or argue against it or protest. I mean, if there's a protest during this 4 week thing, I understand that 4 weeks is a large amount of time for different people at different stages of their life. But it just feels like they're intentionally making it redundant, which is making it all go on for much longer. I've heard a lot of people saying that the government is trying to extend how long this is, and I haven't seen that happen. I've just seen people making it extend.
Yeah.
So it's a whole weird situation.
At the same time, I I'll talk about it like privately and with my wife and with you and with whoever else. I don't like people posting shit on socials. I don't really like talking about it here, as though either of us really kind of understand what we're talking about. We just kind of...
I'm always full of good ideas. You remember that Tinder Viagra woman? Yeah.
We just have our own kind of assessment of the situation that makes sense to us. But yeah, again, I don't want to just be another fucking voice in the ether on this, because I don't think it's helping anyone.
I'll be the voice. Right. Stay at home. Play Scrabble. Don't play Scrabble. That's offensive to dyslexics. Play Snakes and Ladders, because that's offensive to Indiana Jones, and Sean Connery's dead now, so who cares?
Yeah.
Oh!
Sean died.
Oh!
Sean died, and nobody said anything because we were fucking waiting for Boris to come out of his house. The fucking news, they were like, "Oh, it was yesterday, I guess," and I found out about it while we were sitting watching the news, waiting for Boris to come out, and the news started, and we were just looking at his front door, like, what's going on? And then it went back to the studio, and it's like, oh well, there's been a delay, so we'll just hang on and talk to a few people until he's ready to come out. And it was
let's talk to Sean Connery. He's not picking up.
He's and then they just spent an hour doing like fucking Zoom interviews with nobodies and people, like, just about what they thought Boris might say, and then it got to 6 o'clock, and he still hadn't come out, and on the BBC just switched off. They're like, well, we can't send you to the regular programming because we're still waiting for Boris, and we haven't got anything else to talk about. So here's a test screen. Just watch that for 20 minutes, and we'll probably be back.
Probably. We'll see what happens.
And then it just all went red and it said, sorry, there's no programs in your area.
Sorry, Sean Connery's dead. Little card that pops up. Were you a big Sean Connery fan?
Apart from like a few inside jokes with a mate, there was like I liked him. I certainly didn't dislike him, but I wasn't. It wasn't like a. I didn't hold him on a pedestal or anything.
Yeah.
He wasn't one of those guys to me. Yeah.
Older generations, I guess.
Yeah.
As being like the first Bond and stuff like that. But like the guy was 90.
Yeah.
Which is still like not too old, but like, you know, it's not especially with a virus going around. But like, it could be an issue. But so Sean Connery's dead. We've addressed that. Some more weird apocalyptic. We've said before about technology being in your house, like Amazon Echoes and Apple phones and stuff like that, and you've been it's creeped you out a little bit.
A touch, yeah.
Yeah, I had my first creepy moment, which could be complete coincidence, but a YouTube advert called me by name. And like I'm all for it, but it was like it was for like, you know, like Fat Pigeon or moonpig.com, like birthday cards, and it was an advert for why don't you send a birthday card, an audio one, something like this: happy birthday to Nick, happy birthday to Nick. It was like and then it listed off like 4 other random names, and I was just like, I could see how the YouTube channel would know my name.
Yeah.
So personalized adverts to that extreme, because my ears definitely listened to that advert. I was like, well, this is an effective, terrifying use of advertising. But I'm not against it. It was just something that felt very strange, as in like, if the adverts now start talking to you directly, and start learning about you and, you know,
well, that's where it's going, isn't it?
How you like to be treated.
It's a whole personalized experience. Like that's where it's trying to go to.
Yeah. And again, I'm all for it, so long as like the products are good, I guess. If you get people buying bad products,
I'm for it if it's. I'm for anything if it's helpful. I don't mean if you can frame it in a helpful way. I mean if it is obviously helpful.
Yeah, I mean I've always used the silly medical examples, right? Of like, you've got a skin condition. How about you look into these products for that? That will help your skin condition. Or, you've got a fever, call in sick to work and ruin a couple people's day. You know, anything you can do to help the world, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, adverts calling you by name, I think that'd be interesting. Be more effective. It's just, I guess the fear is that it's that it's evil. I guess that's the fear, isn't it? Of like, someone's listening to something inside your house. Well, what if they're evil?
Yeah.
If they're evil, this could be really bad. And I think my worldview is they're probably just idiots, because everybody's an idiot. So someone's just like half listening to you pot around your house whilst watching Netflix.
Yeah.
Just like they're doing other things, like they're getting a notification. Steve has entered the bath. Didn't know Steve could fit in a bath. All right, keep on watching 60 Days In, or I'm in prison.
Yeah.
Whatever it is. And it was another weird thing. Yeah, there's loads of bad customer service still. And I said before, I've had electricians, I've had mechanics, I've had doctors. And then I was meant to have an appointment. I said before, back when we were remote, this was back in like March, was that I'm having lots of weird pain when I use my fingers for anything. If I'm opening doors, picking up things, I get this weird, strange pain in my forearms and legs as well. So it's like it's somewhat a thing to check up on. So I went to check it out. It was a 6-month wait to get a video appointment. Then the video appointment sent me to go get go to the nearby hospital in like 2 weeks. And then I got a phone call the day before saying, sorry, but we've had to cancel. And it's like, it's just another weird one of, if I'd like I say, I've been able to, my life hasn't really changed or anything. It's just something of a weird nature. You go, I'll get it checked out. But yeah, for like a booked appointment that didn't seem like an emergency thing. Like it was for musculoskeletal unit. So I guess if the skeletons escaped, They'd have to reschedule all of their appointments.
What if the muscles escaped?
Oh, well, they'd flap on the floor.
Is that a bicep?
Yeah. So Duo oblongata, whatever it is. That didn't work. Mandula oblongata, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Part of the brain that does something. I don't know.
Oh.
Anyway, in news that isn't impending doom, it's in Stoke news. A husband has punched his wife in the face during a row over whether to spend £20 on food or cannabis. So, like, should we spend it on food or cannabis? Cannabis? Violent Ian Burgess punched his wife in the face because she didn't want him to buy drugs.
What's his name? Violent Ian? What did you expect?
Yeah, you can't. If you're Mrs. Violent Ian, like if you're married to Violent Ian, you gotta see this stuff coming. The 48-year-old hit the victim at their Normacott home after an argument started while they're watching TV.
Yeah, Normacott's a rough place.
Watching TV. Should I buy some drugs? I think you should buy some food. It's watching TV so casual. The parties have been married for 10 years. On July 10th, the injured party and the defendant were at home sitting on the sofa watching telly. They argued he wanted to spend £20 on cannabis. She said the money was needed for food and electricity. I don't need electricity. I want cannabis. He became aggressive. He shouted, "This is all your fault," before putting his hands over her face. Ah! You didn't budget properly for electricity. It's horrific, but it is funny. He then punched her in the face. Contact was made with her eye. That's probably the worst place to get punched. Yeah. I think that's the worst place to get punched, in the eye.
It's pretty unprotected. I mean...
Yeah, it feels thinner as well on the bone. So it feels like you could probably get just not that comfortable. It seems... Contact was made with her eye. I think this is him speaking in court. It seems she wanted to go to hospital. Oh, this is the defendant, I guess. Prosecutor, defender, lawyer person. It seems she wanted to go to hospital, but he said she could not go. He said, "Well, how are you going to explain this?" Big fist marks. That's where it becomes more, not as funny, like not letting somebody go to hospital. Punch someone in the face, sure. But let them go to hospital, right?
Yeah.
At one point, he grabbed a knife from the kitchen and motioned towards her and himself. He's doing a lot of motioning, this guy.
Stab us both.
Food or drugs? Food, knife, you or me. You must be great at charades.
Yeah. American Psycho.
Yeah. Jaws, Jurassic Park. The victim wrote a letter to magistrates that said she believed the relationship was over when the incident happened. The incident being punched in the face because he wanted to buy cannabis, not letting you go to hospital, and then him grabbing a knife and threatening you both. I feel like the relationship should be over.
Right, okay, but if the relationship is over, why do you care what the other person wants to buy? More to the point, get out of my house.
Oh, no. This is, she thought, she assumed the relationship was over after he punched her in the face.
Right, okay.
She was like, I think he's trying to tell me that someone's trying to give me a sign.
Yeah.
Maybe
We're just different people. I want food, he wants drugs.
He wants drugs and a bruised wife. I don't know. So she wrote a letter saying she believed the relationship was over, but now she's having second thoughts. She thinks there could be a chance they'd get back together in the future.
Why?
She said she did not want Burgess to go to prison, but hoped he'd get counselling. What if you get counselling for punching me in the... I don't understand.
Counselling or drugs?
Counselling? I'm going to go get my axe. I'll be right back. I've been in abusive relationships and bad relationships, and I can definitely understand that you wouldn't really, while you're in the relationship especially, you wouldn't really notice the bad things that were happening to you. So I can understand maybe not wanting to leave. But after a court case has opened up and it's been some time. I just hoped that people would be a bit more able to take care of themselves and not want to do it. So it is funny because of how it's been written, but yeah, it's very much like don't stay with people who threaten you with knives and punch you in the face. Yeah. Otherwise, what was that case a while ago? The girlfriend might stab you because you're trying to stop her from cutting herself, and then she goes to prison on a life sentence.
Yeah.
Yeah. In other Stoke news, one of Stoke-on-Trent's biggest characters. Everyone loves a character.
Yeah.
Everyone's got... If you've got like characters in your local area, you're like, oh, he's a little bit weak.
Yeah, a few crackheads.
Yeah. The Stoke-on-Trent character is dead after life was blighted by drugs and crime.
What a character.
Such a character. Now, I do know a lot of characters that are, drug addicts and criminals and stuff like that. I know they've sometimes got a bit of a cheeky twang to them. They're a bit more sociable, got a bit more charm skill in it, I guess. So it's not...
Yeah.
I just didn't see where... They didn't go into any details about why he was a character, why... He was always happy, he was always smiling, he was always having a laugh, he was always, murdering or whatever. Long-standing drug user Patrick Revins was found... Did you know him? He's from Stoke?
No.
Was found dead at home after a support worker called to check in on him. He was sitting against a wall, wrapped from chest to toe in a duvet, and his head was leaning on a pillow. Like some kind of metaphor for a characterful person. Yeah. His legs were stretched straight out, and there was an intravenous needle nearby, along with 2 boxes of kitchen foil. Oh, he was always wrapping stuff in foil, he was.
Yeah.
That's that guy.
Homemade baubles. Nearly Christmas.
I reckon that this is where they think they're trying to get the character in. When Patrick drank, he would take diazepam. However, when he was not on that drink, so I'm doing all drink, he would take whiz and monkey dust.
Character.
What a carrot. So he's dead. I don't know. Sad that everyone's dying, but dead. Just don't falsely accuse somebody of being characterful. Yeah, it feels like they're just like, someone's dead. We need to report it, but let's try and make it jovial. He was a character.
Make it light. Make the story about the dead drug addict who died alone in a duvet light. Make it light.
Kid friendly.
What was he like? He was a character, a good character, a bad character, a boring character.
Just a character, really.
Just a character.
He had a name. He was in a universe.
Yeah, he had a name and a duvet. And a social worker.
And oddly enough, he actually left the social worker in his will to a nearby park.
Yeah.
So there's now a roaming council support worker that belongs to a national park.
Yeah.
Trying to counsel the park. Climate change is coming, but we've had this before.
Yeah.
Use your breathing techniques and the trees stop. In other non-Stoke news, let's pop over to America, where obviously it gets American. A Texas child has died after accidentally shooting himself in the chest during his birthday party. Want to blow out your candles? What did he wish for? I wish for COVID to be over, at least for me. And then just turns the gun on. Deputies were dispatched to a home in Porter, Texas, about 25 miles north of Houston, for a wellness check. A wellness check.
Yeah, that's like a
vitamin.
No,
they come to give you your vitamins
a wellness
for your
check,
shot
so
in the
you're
chest.
Checking on mental health and stuff. So it's,
okay.
Yeah.
So what? Each state is different, right? But if there's a shooting where a child has been killed, I would expect them to be, someone's been sent over to investigate, not just like, how did it make you feel? I mean, there's a loaded gun, there's a dead baby or a child. I think he was 3 from memory. Yeah, 3 years old. Like, not just like, hey, how's everybody feeling? Has your mellow been harshed?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's weird. It's just a weird phrasing for me. But yeah, when the officers arrived, they were told that the child 3, who has not been identified, was shot in the chest during a birthday party. While playing cards, they heard the gunshot go off.
Playing cards?
Yeah, they were playing cards.
They were playing cards, and the kid was outside on his birthday on his own. while his parents are inside playing cards.
Yeah.
Like, is it any wonder they're sending someone to do a mental health check? Like, there's obviously already problems at home.
Well, I don't know how believable this next part is, and it's not huge. It's just because I haven't been around guns on a day-to-day basis for my entire life.
Probably for the best.
I don't know. So the child found the gun after it fell out of somebody's pocket.
Yeah, so that'll be like a concealed carry situation, won't it?
No, yeah, but like
it's Texas, isn't it?
In a holster. Put it in a holster, right?
Yeah.
Don't just pop it in your pocket.
Some people
if you're going to the gym and you've got a 9mm pistol within your tracksuit bottoms.
Yeah.
It feels weird. I always thought people tucked them into their trousers.
Yeah.
Get a holster if you've got a gun.
Which I don't get either. Why would you put it in your trousers? Like
it's only for access. But yeah,
get a holster.
Pocket. Yeah, like, get a holster for sure.
If you've got to carry it around, get a holster.
But like it's okay. So all right, let's think about it. Maybe it was a really small gun, which is still gonna make a noise. But say it was as small as like a small water pistol, which I don't know if the camera can see. But yeah, say it's about that small. It's like a little, really small gun.
Yeah,
you'd still hear it if it fell on the floor. And I'm hoping that you would know what your gun sounded like.
They're quite heavy.
Yeah, if it fell out of your loose pocket, it's. What else is in your pockets that you don't notice? A gun moving around. But again, like I say, it's just maybe not. Just haven't had that much gun experience, I guess. I've had some gun experience, but not day-to-day playing cards at children's birthday parties.
No.
Kind of deal. They took the child to a fire station, where he later died from his wounds. I'm assuming the fire station was closer than anything else. It wasn't just like, I like fire stations, let's go see it. He loves fire engines. Let's give him his last wish. Let's let him see a fire engine before he dies. It's unclear if they were even going to investigate the death. And the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office said that its thoughts and prayers go out to the family.
Thoughts and prayers.
Of course they do. Why investigate? Why investigate?
Yeah.
Again, different laws. I mean, I think if you died by anything in the UK, right, there would be some kind of investigation.
Yeah. Even a short one.
Yeah. I mean, well, I guess that's the question, right? Because we just had Stoke-on-Trent character die. Maybe did they investigate his, or did they just say, well, he had that kitchen foil? That's the end of him. But yeah, it's insane to me that a gun can fall out your pocket and you won't notice the child taking it and going out and playing, and then shooting themselves. Lastly, from me, a skull wearing sunglasses on a family's mantelpiece turns out to be a man who's been missing for 8 years. I don't have many skulls. Was it? No, I knew someone who had a load of skulls in their house. But it's. I mean, I'm not all for is it haberdashery item a skull? Do you think?
Maybe.
I guess it's like a photo frame. You put a skull, put a coin in it or something.
Yeah,
candle.
I imagine you could probably find that in like a shop somewhere, like a charity shop, because it's been handed in, and they're like, well, it can't be real. You
would assume it wouldn't be real, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
But then
you can make very realistic looking things these days.
Yeah, but you feel like a human one would be less intact, even though it may be fresh. I'll go into it. Police detectives were tipped off by a member of the public about the human remains, which were being displayed in an unidentified home. So either it was inside the house and somebody who went in the house was like, that looks like Greg. Yeah. And then
those are his shades.
Or it was like on a window, like you're looking out. Oh, Greg, there he is. Or wherever it is. The skull was then seized by officers. That sounds like a very aggressive thing for picking something up.
Yeah.
And taken for tests. 1 + 1. If I have 5 apples, and then I take away 2 apples, how many apples do you have, skull? Greg was never really good at maths. That's how we knew it was
definitely Greg.
Following the examinations, the Regional Forensic Center and the University of Tennessee Anthropology Department discovered that it belonged to Mr. McCann. Not Madeleine McCann, but another McCann. All these McCanns going missing. District Attorney General Russell Johnson. My name is Russell Johnson. You should be the DA. And said that this is someone who'd been missing for 8 years. It's also believed that he was killed by a family member who has since passed away.
Oh.
So, but that's a character, if anything.
So can they have him back?
No. Well, they tried to put him back together, but they ran out of chewing gum. So, he's not... I'll call a doctor remotely. Is he dead? Well, he's not moved for 8 years and he's been buried. He's only a skull.
Yeah, it's just a skull.
I did declare someone dead a couple of weeks ago, and I wasn't there, and I don't want to make the same mistake. I'm coming around.
Yeah.
Do what's the machine on a skull?
Defibrillator. Fucking doctor
Defibrillate
looking
that
up in the
skull.
medical encyclopedia how to test a skull for a pulse.
How to test for Greg. Yeah, and that's me this week.
Oh.
Good times.
A few headlines from me. Just a few. A motorist seen streaming on Facebook Live while drinking beers and driving down the highway, stating, "I drive much better when I'm drunk," crashed his car, killing himself and his 2 passengers.
They've only recently made that illegal. Well, obviously, drink driving's always kind of been illegal over here. But there was a recent article I saw that you were able to play games on your phone while you drove. That was legal.
Really?
Yeah, it was the strict sense of you cannot make phone calls or text.
Oh, right.
And obviously, this was probably made a while ago, back when Snake was like the only.
Well, that's dumb as fuck. Because I've always heard. Apparently, I don't listen to them because it seems like nonsense to me. But I've always heard you're not allowed to eat or drink while you're driving either.
Maybe. Well, yeah. We did cover an article where a guy was eating a banana, and they thought it was somebody eating something, but they thought he was on the phone.
It was a hash brown,
something like that. Hash brown. Yeah, that was it. Hello. So I'm not sure whether it was always a UK thing. Like, yeah, maybe you could always, but it's also like suggested against. But yeah, they're now moving forward so that if you use your phone at all with your hands, then it becomes illegal.
Yeah,
as in they can be arrested for it. I'm assuming because police would pull someone over saying, "We saw you on your phone," and they were like, "No, I'm gambling." Like, oh, well, that's legal then, I guess.
Yeah.
You weren't texting anybody. You were playing blackjack.
That's the thing, and like even the police would look at that situation and be like, "Well, we can't actually arrest you for that, even though you understand it's dumb as fuck."
Yeah,
and like it's exactly the same thing. We're not allowed to arrest you for it.
Yeah, because technically you're not talking to anybody.
Yeah,
and it's talking to people that's the problem. Loose lips sink ships, young man.
Yeah.
All right.
Does that
drive away?
Yeah. So maybe you could use the phone as long as you didn't get through. So you would just leave an answering machine messages.
Yeah, voicemails. I want a voicemail. Yeah. But yeah. So the confident drunk driver kills many.
Live streams his own death. A very confident death as well. I drive much better when I'm drunk.
Yeah. If he wasn't drunk, then he would have died twice.
Yeah.
That's the issue.
It would have been fucking terrible.
Fucking ridiculous.
Yeah. In other news, a man from Arkansas has been imprisoned for 100 years after fatally shooting a woman for putting mayonnaise on his burger.
But obviously thoughts and prayers, right? But like, I don't know whether this is what makes me think I'm a psychopath, but I could definitely relate with that guy's situation. Of like, yeah, I wouldn't do it, but I think everybody has that tipping point that they can get to.
Yeah.
Where it's just, they've had a bad year, say. Like every day's been terrible, and they're just is this the straw that breaks your back? You just go like, no, this is it. I just wanted a burger.
Yeah.
But if it was just a casual thing, then yeah, silly. But yeah, you can understand
Prior
that, right?
to the shooting, his neighbours heard the man yell, "Bitch, you know I don't like mayonnaise."
Well, he gave it some rhythm. You know what I mean? He made it into a creative public performance piece.
But he shot her. She died. Like, she'd been out to get to get burgers from this place. It was like a fast food thing. Came back with his burger, so he got angry and shot her and injured his brother as well. Apparently, like shot. I don't know if he shot his brother or just punched him or what. But one dead, one
Pickles.
Injured. Yeah,
I don't mind pickles, but I'm not in the mood for them. Shoot you in the leg. You get a scissor to the thigh. I'm doling out justice today. Wait, so the woman who brought him the burger, did she work for the company, or was she an Uber Eats delivery person, or was she a family friend?
I think
Gone
she was
to pick up the food and come back?
I think she was his girlfriend or his wife, or I'm not sure. She didn't work with them. She didn't work for the fast food people. She just went to get the food.
Right. Well, there could be all other things. He was looking for a reason to break up.
Yeah.
And he didn't want to wait for her to go to choose food over drugs so that he could punch her in the face. So he decided, right, I'm just going to shoot you.
It's pretty funny last words to hear. Bitch, you know I don't like mayonnaise. Bang.
Wonder what's going on outside. That bitch didn't know that he didn't like mayonnaise.
Yeah. In other news, Essex news, firefighters in Bower Hill, Epping were called out this week to rescue 3 men stuck in a tumble dryer.
Fire! Fire! Call the fire brigade. Well, I guess you would. There's no point calling the police. Arrest this tumble dryer. I'm wanted under arrest. It's eaten me and my friends. I demand an investigation.
It was an industrial tumble dryer, and they all crawled into it, and one of them got stuck while he was crawling into it, or something like that, and they had to call the fire brigade. And they didn't. The response from the fire brigade wasn't like, oh, this was really silly, or like it was pretty matter of fact. And then they just went on for like a paragraph about all the equipment they had to carry across, and be like, oh, it was really heavy. We had to take it from here and all the way over to there.
They probably got to they've probably been told that they have to discourage this kind of behavior, right? They have to be like, well,
right.
It was I mean, it wasn't that big an issue for us to deal with, but sure, it was a big problem. Like, it was quiet. No one was on fire that night.
That's the thing, though. It's like, I understand, but I don't think you're going to discourage someone from climbing into a tumble dryer. I think that kind of person is always just going to do that.
Right, so direct question. Have you ever tried to climb inside a tumble dryer?
No.
You haven't lived. It's great. It's amazing. I've never been able to fit in a tumble dryer, but I remember distinctly in my teenage years trying to.
No.
At uni, I was like, I think if I could get inside this tumble dryer, that could be quite cool.
I couldn't. I couldn't get. No, I would no. But a bunch of my friends got into. No, I got in. I've gotten into cupboards and things. A bunch of my friends got into a fridge, but I didn't. Oh, yeah. I never got into a tumble dryer. A fridge is meant to be really dangerous, apparently.
Yeah, it sucks everything out of it. Yeah. It doesn't push cold air in. It pulls everything out, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, and there were. I remember a story. What was it? Did we cover it? The kids that died in a fridge or a freezer or something like that. It was unplugged and it wasn't in a working condition. It was just like on their front lawn, and they climbed into it. But it was like one of those chest freezers, and it was like hide and seek. Yeah. And they climbed into it, and the lid closed, and the catch slipped, and then they were just stuck, and they died.
This is the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I can understand getting in it for a laugh, and then if it was a student thing, I guess if you were in your 50s and you were doing it, I'd raise questions.
Yeah,
you have more important things for you to be doing right now.
Yeah,
but if you're 18, and that's the thing. I mean, technically they were quarantining properly.
Well, this was in Arkansas, so I don't think they're doing. I don't think they're doing the quarantine thing over there.
They're just killing themselves.
Yeah,
while trying to create brotherly bonds through tumble dryers
by climbing into a tumble dryer. That's massive. Let's get in it. I don't understand that urge.
But then you've got a similar urge, right? Whales are massive. You want to be near them.
Yes, yeah. No, there is that.
So I imagine it's.
I don't want to be in one though.
Post-industrial revolution.
I don't want to be in a whale. Being near it is enough.
just want to have the interesting perspective.
Yeah.
They wanted to see life from the perspective of a tumble dryer.
But then maybe it could be the same thing as cats get. Cats like being in boxes and stuff. Like, and if you like draw a square on the ground, the cat will go and sit in the square. Like, they have this thing about being contained. It makes them feel safe or something like that. I don't know. Maybe it's the same
Apparently,
kind of thing.
human beings have the same thing as well with swaddling and stuff, isn't it? Like, babies like to be tight.
Yeah.
When you make that, and then there's still the same thing of some people grow up and they still like compression of some kind, I think.
Yeah, well, they got these like compression blankets or something like that are just weighted blankets, and apparently we sleep a lot better with them. Apparently.
I don't know. I need to be free so I can bounce at the first sight of demons.
Yeah, you don't want to be weighed down. In other news, police were called to investigate a masked man in Aberdeen carrying a machete that, upon a closer inspection, turned out to be a bag of leeks.
He's going to kill the leek's on the loose. It could be a machete, right? A leek, I mean, it's green.
Yeah.
Machetes are green, maybe?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Stop that man. He's got my leeks.
It's just that people in Aberdeen aren't used to seeing vegetables. It's like, what's that? It's a machete. Are you sure? Well, it can't be a leek.
What's that? A hand grenade. It's an orange. He's gonna kill us all.
Yeah. And finally, after paying $150 for a full contact experience with a black leopard, a man was mauled by a black leopard.
Yeah. Well, yeah. At least he paid for it. It's all above board.
Yeah.
His insurance might not pay out, but who knows?
The man paid $150 for a full contact experience with the black leopard, which allowed him to play with it, rub its belly, and take pictures.
It didn't mind the play. It didn't mind rubbing its belly, but it was feeling a little self-conscious that day.
Yeah.
After
no pictures. No pictures.
Yeah. I look terrible today.
The man was attacked as soon as he entered the leopard's enclosure.
There's like video footage of it, and there's just like he goes in, closes the gate, the guy gets mauled, and then there's the open sign turns around. Like, no more visitors today. I don't think we've got to do a lot of clean up on aisle.
Aisle leopard.